when we find people that can help us provide that experience and educate customers and make it fun, right? Healthy eating is not fun. It's a dry salad with chicken on it, with 4 piece and a couple croutons, and you're scared about how much dressing you put on. Like, that's what people think it means to eat healthy.
I'd love to hear kind of the bridge from you kind of exited the cell phone business, ended up closing those stores and merging like out of that business. And then tell me about the journey that took you from there to starting Sloan Capital and then eventually starting Everbowl.
Yeah. So the shift in cell phones, like I said, it kind of became a brick wall where the business is cruising along and we're opening another location and we're expanding and growing. And then, like I said, that brick wall happened where they started making bad investments. They weren't allowed. And so this business that I grew quickly became somewhere where I did not want to continue to invest money into. It does not make sense to open more stores that are losing 40% of their customer base. So I started looking at every other opportunity that I could to make some other dollars and put other dollars to work. And so I'm researching franchises, I'm researching business opportunities, but I still have a decent business. And I didn't want to walk away from it. I wanted something more passive. And I was talking with someone and they said, why don't you, go learn about real estate? And I said, well, I like real estate. I'm a tenant in my strip malls and stuff, but I don't have time to manage a property. And this is how naive I was. They said, go hire a property manager. And I had no idea what a property manager was. So I flew back and I literally interviewed every property manager that would take my calls, found out the process, worked backwards in the math. And at that point, it was like, okay, this makes a lot of sense. That's a risk reward thing, right? If I put X amount of dollars in, we think we can get X amount of rent. We know about X amount where the repairs and stuff should be. Hey, that's a positive investment. And so I did that. And then another one, and then another one, and then a bunch more, and then some fourplexes, and then a strip mall that I'm in, and it just started spiraling from normal growth.
Hearing that story kind of inspires me. And I think speak to the younger entrepreneurs, maybe 20s, 30s, young adults still like launching their first business. They listen to someone like you and they're like they hear all these ideas and there's always people talking and there's always voices, invest in this, do this. There's so many opportunities. Talk to the ones that are on their first business, also who are on their first business and we're profitable, but we're not thriving yet. Like, do you speak to like those younger entrepreneurs like, hey, hold on, just like, listen, take that advice for later, but just really focus on the business that you're on now? Or like, what's your advice there?
Yeah, I would say so. A couple of the mistakes that I made early on that hurt some of the core businesses. I went really wide. I started a competitor to Redbox. We bought DVD machines and put them in grocery stores, and I was an investor in an audio video. I did all these kind of different things. But what I found is that the more centrally focused that you can be on a core concept and then use the funds from that to go and invest into other things. I know so many people that are into 20 different businesses and opportunities, but they're not doing any of them really, really well. So get a core one that can feed other businesses. For me, I was not planning on opening a bunch more physical businesses. My path kind of went from owning physical businesses to understanding how to be the landlord of physical businesses, because almost all of my real estate right now is commercial. And now we're making the pivot back to physical businesses almost in a Slumdog Millionaire kind of way. And I know it sounds weird for me to say that, but this really is a combination of everything that I've done my entire life. I've scaled businesses. I know leasing and construction like the back of my hand. Now we're getting to take healthy eating and move it everywhere across the country. And it just makes a lot of sense to go all in on that. And then the profit from that, I'll go invest in some other friends' deals and some other stuff. I don't need to be doing everything myself. What I need to do is make sure that I am crushing it for our investors that do trust us on this and expanding this as massively as possible. And if I do that, then it makes it so there's no ask ever again. So the big tip to those people that are starting out right now is get known for winning and crush that one thing, and then watch all the other opportunities that happen from that.
I love that. That's super valuable. And yeah, there's so many voices. There's always pressure of like, do this, do this. Our parents do this, or our friends do this. Oh, I'm buying this. And I like that focus on building and winning in this one area. Tell me about so you hear about Everbowl and you start you decide you want to be an investor in it. Tell me about like deciding you want to be an investor in it, to like the journey to like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna start launching more stores, and I'm gonna be really invested in operating these stores. Tell me about like that journey.
So in the middle of the pandemic, I got a message from an old friend that said, we're kind of gathering a group of people in Phoenix and kind of talk about business and talk about what's going on in the world. And, you know, a lot of people are going out of business and hurting. And it just makes sense to have a lot of people that have a lot of business experience talk and get together for a few days. And so we went out to Phoenix, and the final day, the guy that ran the event rented out the Diamondback Stadium. And there was 80 of us, literally, for a stadium of, I don't know, 70,000 or something like that. And we literally were on the field and hitting balls with the players and just networking and getting to know each other. And Everbowl set up a stand on the first baseline and served acai bowls and these bowls of superfood. And the weird thing, I had never had one of these before. You know, I'm from the Midwest. I'm born and raised in Iowa. I do a lot of my business between Iowa and Texas, kind of right around here. You know, and in California, this is a normal thing that people eat every day. And in Hawaii and all these places. And I ate this bowl and it was really good. And I mean, like the reality was, it was just something I wanted in my life, right? I work from my office. I work from my home a lot. I travel a lot. I want something that is quick and decently healthy for me. And there's just, you know, or more importantly, that I don't feel like garbage at 3 p.m. after I eat the food. So I started to learn about the company, and I did some research, and I saw what their stores looked like. And the bug, I mean, I was bit by the bug. Let's just put it that way. I think within a week or two, I was back on a plane to San Diego. I went to corporate. I toured a bunch of their locations. And we really sat down and said, hey, I'm willing to commit a large piece of my life towards making this grow. How do we collectively, what works with Everbowl, what works with my skill set, what works with the growth pattern? And given, you know, locations and geography and all that kind of stuff, I ended up making the move of purchasing the rights to it for the state of Texas. And, you know, a few months later, we signed a lease. And a few months after that, we opened our first location. Now in the last year, opened 5 locations. And we have a dozen more slated for next year, and just starting this snowball rolling down the hill.
I love it. I heard you speaking on podcasts and talking about the business. And then I was in Dallas when I heard that podcast, and then I went to one of the stores and had a great experience, and the bowl was good and filling, and like I love it. I love I think I'm always thinking about that, because you know when we're on a rush, when we're going somewhere, it's like, man, I don't want to stop and eat, you know, even Chick-fil-A's or McDonald's or like any of these fast food places where it's just like I feel sick or whatever. And also like buying fruit from the grocery store is super hard too, because you buy fruit from the grocery store, it goes bad like in 3 days. So like no, if I live close to one, and if I'm back in Texas and I'm close to one, like I would eat it every day. So I'm super excited about the service that you guys have, and your product, and hoping, you know, move out to Fort Worth soon. And I know there's going to be a really good market for the product there. When you are looking at like who you're hiring on and who you're bringing on your team now, and especially when, you know, you're looking to expand and your goal is 50 stores like in the state of Texas, correct? And like, how are you looking for that leadership, and how are you building that?
Well, first of all, thank you for coming into one of our locations. And you kind of hit on the most important thing as we bring this new concept to new areas, which is, what are the team members giving you, the customer, as an experience? And so like this is a really cool brand, right? It's amazingly beautiful food. The stores are amazing. Drew Brees owns part of the company. He owns the rights to 7 different states. There's like we're launching stores every week or two. That's all so exciting, right? But what happens when those customers come back into the store? And what happens if we just shove the food at them and say bye?
Mm.
Right? What's the likeliness that they're going to return? So we have 5 core values at Everbowl. The first 2 are the most important, which is make friends and have fun.
Mm.
And that's what we hire off of. We hire off of the ability for our team members to be able to make friends with our customers. You know, I can walk into a favorite drinking hole and they can know what my drink is. And hey, here's your regular, sir, right? But why can't we do that with something that makes people better? That gives people more energy. And I watch as we have these locations near gyms and grocery stores and all this, that people work out and then they come and they fuel themselves with our food. And, you know, and watching the change that happens when you switch from a Burger King 1,400 calorie processed meal to a 500 calorie bowl of something that's not processed and food that comes from Mother Nature. And so when we find people that can help us provide that experience and educate customers and make it fun, right? Healthy eating is not fun. It's a dry salad with chicken on it, with 4 pieces, you know, and a couple croutons, and you're scared about how much dressing you put on. Like, that's what people think it means to eat healthy. And when I ate, that's what I thought. When I ate the bowl of this thing, and you know, our biggest issue right now is we have customers that go out to eat and then they come to us, right? That's the biggest change is like, oh, it's an expensive dessert. Like, wait a minute, no. Look at it another way. What if you could fuel yourself with that so you didn't need both? And that's what that's the market that we've gone after and what we're trying to do. And the more that we can find people that want to help give us that experience and make those customers smile in return, that's how we grow. And that's why you're seeing the growth that we're doing is when people go into our stores, they're leaving and they're telling other people. I mean, we signed franchisees in Texas because of somebody that walked into a store in Arizona, you know, and all of us every day fight to deliver an amazing experience. And if we do so, we can bring healthy eating across the entire, not just the United States, across the globe.